Hello, my name's Beth, and thanks for joining me here on the Pagan Creative Podcast, where we explore ideas around creativity and the creative life from a pagan and nature-based perspective. We talk about what creativity means to us, how we can draw it out of ourselves, and how we can use it in the world. So, this episode sits outside of our usual episodes and the series on creativity and plant development that we're currently running. This episode is specially for the festival of Ostara, or you might know it as Spring Equinox, Vernal Equinox, Lady Day, Alban, Alia, sorry if I've said that wrong, or Sigablot. But this is where we are sitting in the Northern Hemisphere at the moment, and this is traditionally the place of balance, a time when day and night are of approximately equal length, and we can see that reflected in the language equinox, translating as equi, meaning equal, and nox, meaning night. And this sort of breakup of the day is actually something that's already very familiar to people living around the equator. I spent about a year in total in Africa, living right on the equator, and this was something that I was very conscious of. The sun came up at 6 and it went down at 6 consistently. It didn't really change whether it was January or whether it was August, and that took a bit of getting used to, but that was the standard timing. But here in the Northern Hemisphere, we experience this a little differently, because equal day and night at this time of year is signalling to us that the days are increasing, that we are progressing around the wheel of our year. We've been dwelling in the winter months where the night has dominated, and now we're moving into this balance point before the daylight starts to dominate and the growing season of the earth really begins in earnest. And this is a wonderful time of year. We're starting to see the leaf buds on the trees, the early flowers are in bloom, and we might be starting to see the first bees. And I was so happy to go for a short walk the other day, and I came across a bush with some early blossom, and the whole thing was absolutely teeming with bees, which was so wonderful to see. That fertility is the name of the game right now. The spirit of life is rising in the earth. It's making the earth receptive to the seeds that we're planting, and it's ready to nurture and grow them over the coming months and to become productive again. We might even start to feel some genuine warmth in the sun at this time as the presence of the fire starts to grow, and that's again so welcome after the cold winds that have been biting at our skin over the dark months. Everywhere in nature feels uplifted. The process of renewal and awakening is becoming clearly visible, and everything feels new and vital and alive. And it's not surprising then that some of the symbols of this time of year are eggs and hares and spring flowers that are all sacred to the Germanic goddess Ostara that the festival is named for. As we're moving along in this cycle of festival podcasts, I am actually realizing that I am a complete child of spring. Last time at Imbolc, I was talking about the goddess Bridget, who has played such an important role in my creative work. And this time, I can't help but mention my ever so slight, take that as enormous creative obsession with hares and the multitude of hair designs that I have made over the past years, including the Ostara hair image that forms the Pagan Creative logo. And I want to talk about hares a bit because here at this time of year, through the planet's motion, we know that the light will grow, and we rely on that in the way that our ancestors have for so many generations. And that light says, create, create, create. And the creative visionary energy of spring is so abundant, and the hair of Ostara appears, the white lunar hair of the maiden goddess, the fully awakened goddess who is filled with youthful vitality and is ready to walk with the green man and be fully alive in the world. And like so many of these threshold points in the year, it always feels to me that somehow an old creaking ancient doorway is being opened, and the goddess and the white hair come running through into the world of nature, riding on a wave of creative energy that will wedge that door open until we reach the autumn equinox, the opposite point on the wheel, when it will start to creak closed again. The door will start to creak closed again. I've often found that the image or the energy of the hair is good at that, at opening doors to creativity, to the creative energy inside us. And over the years of feeling compelled to make so much hair-based imagery in ceramic, I remember a night of working late into the early hours, and I was carving a hair image into the clay, and I was suddenly struck by a profound sense of the hair's presence, the sensation of the hair moving through me as something alive. I could feel the sudden rush of vitality, which I can assure you I was not naturally feeling at 2 o'clock in the morning. And as I'm sitting here talking about that, I have the sensation again, but it felt to me that in creating its image over and over again, it had somehow created a doorway inside me for it to flow through through the vehicle of my creativity. And once I realized that, I started to keep images and a figurine of a hair around my workbench to always remind me to make that connection before I started work, to invite the hair as a symbol of my creative energy and the creative energy of the earth to be present and to open the door inside me. And it can be quite an interesting thing to discover the symbol of your creativity in this way, something that connects you to that in yourself. And for me, it's the hair. For others, it might present as something else, but it can become a very tangible way to form an interactive relationship with what we might otherwise think of as energy, something spiritual or otherworldly, rather than something that is innately present and flowing through the whole of us and our life and our world at any given moment. It becomes interactive. It becomes something we can have a conversation with or an experience with in a less abstract way. And really, it was this experience with the hair that made me start to think about creativity as a doorway opening inside us so that our potential can flow out, and that when we call upon it, perhaps we are calling upon the spring fires that are ready to express themselves, that are primed, that are ready to unfold into all of their fullness and are burning away resistance to unleash a torrent of life. They're bringing in the light. And perhaps this is what Ostara says to us. She brings us to this place of light and darkness. She brings us to a crossroads within us and says, if you want to continue on this path of becoming, this path of birthing into your potential, then you need to let the light in so it can help you to grow. And as I'm thinking about this, my mind is drifting back to when my partner was in hospital having his surgery a few years back. And I know I've mentioned this a few times before on the podcast, but I come back to it because it was such a really intense time of learning for me in so many different ways and so many experiences within that bigger experience, in the way that those dark times often are. And he went into hospital in the middle of spring. So in the weeks preceding that, we were preparing him for this massive physical ordeal. And, it felt so strange to be in the midst of all of that while this energy of life was emerging all around, while the sun was starting to shine and the flowers and the blossom were coming out and the leaves were unfurling. And it is such an odd sensation to feel so much loss and heavy emotion at a time when everything seems to be turning in the opposite direction within nature. And I would go to visit at the hospital and I would emerge into the most glorious sunshine. And it was such a contradiction to what was going on in our lives and in my internal life at that time. It felt so incongruous, and I felt my resistance to it. And yet it insisted on making its presence felt. And it was telling me, I am here. Whether you are able to accept me or not, I am here, even in the midst of all this darkness. And sometimes I think just knowing that truth can help. The fact that these two opposing states can coexist. They can bring balance to one another. Even if we can't really fully let it in and really take it into our hearts right in that moment. It's kind of like a warm hug when we most need it. And when you think about that, have you noticed how the benefit of a warm hug or some kind of kindness is greatest at those times? As if the darkness within us makes the experience of receiving love stronger and more intense than if we're in a light and happy mood, and the relief and the comfort and the softening that it can bring, as if it responds and it rises to match the level of need within us, as if it's seeking to balance it. When I think about this idea of balance that we find at the equinox, the equal darkness and light, and I think back to that time in my life, and I can feel how easy it can be for us to be consumed by the events in our lives that challenge us emotionally, and to not see the light, to not let it in, to not see that darkness and light can and do exist simultaneously. I think about the times that we're living in, where global events are the source of so much pain and distress and suffering for so many, and where we have 24/7 news outlets that don't want to allow us to think about anything else, but just want to whip people up into fear and anger and feelings of powerlessness. Because the reality is that most of us can't single-handedly turn around a tank or stop armies marching or eradicate a disease. And in terms of events in the physical world, while our hearts might reach out across borders with so much love and support to those that are in trouble, and maybe we can donate money to relief efforts if we're able to, maybe we can get involved in relief efforts from a distance, but there's often the sensation of there being so little we can do to change dramatic events that are already in motion. I think that if we feel able to, then maybe it becomes more important than ever to look for the light, to look for the love, even if that's the love inside ourselves for the people and the places that have need of it, and to give it equal focus, to give it equal weight for both ourselves and for the world. I talk so often on this podcast about us living in a world of connection on this planet, and that web of life is woven with threads of light and dark, and it needs both, however much we wish it didn't at times. It's the darkness that gives meaning and value to the light, that allows us to understand it and to long for it. But when the world is spinning so many dark threads, then perhaps we are called upon to spin more threads of light to balance them. As we stand on this threshold of the equinox, looking back towards winter, looking forwards towards summer, perhaps we can ask, which way do we want to go? Which way do we want our world to go? How do we want to use our creative imaginations in this place where we're standing? Do we want to recreate visions of winter to add to the darkness, or to fill that web of life that connects us all with visions of a world where the day balances the night, where the light balances the shadow, where life balances death, and where the potential of every being is free and liberated to unfold into the life that it was born to live through the spring and the summer and beyond? Can we be the warm hug that the world needs right now? Can we let its need amplify the light within us? Can we collectively be the balance to that darkness that feels so pervasive through the way that we live our lives, through the ways that we care for and support each other and ourselves, the ways that we care for our planet and all the creatures living on it? Can we infuse the web of our connection in so many small ways every day through the things that we choose to focus on? Can we assert through our thoughts and our feelings and our actions the presence of the light in the world, balancing the darkness that wants to dominate? Can we use this time of the spring equinox, this time of balance, to say this is the turning point? This is the time when we make a decision about which way we are headed, both individually and collectively. And can we then start walking in that direction? And I'd like to invite you now to share in our pathworking meditation and some poetry and a healing candle meditation all around these themes of Ostara that we've been talking about today. And as always, please do only enter into this if your attention is not needed elsewhere, such as if you are driving or if you are looking after children or you are operating any kind of machinery. But if you are in a position to settle down and relax, then I want to invite you now to find a comfortable place to sit or lie down, making sure that your body is well supported, that you're nice and cozy, so that you can close your eyes and just sink into relaxation and this space that is created to nurture and hold you in this Ostara sharing. So please take a few moments to do that now. And when you're settled and ready, then I'll begin with a very short Ostara poem that I wrote after some dreaming with the hare. And this is perhaps to just welcome the hare and her creative spring energies into our space. And it's called The Hare. Within the mystery of dark hills, where moorland creaks beneath skies laden with coals, where trees wrought by untethered winds pierce the silence with crooked whispers, we waited for the hare. Out of the heather and gorse she raced, out of the spirals and thorn, her long stride beating the molten river of the moon through nest and hollow, a cool current in the ocean of night. Beneath the willow, ears raised high, she paused, alert with dreaming, washed silver in the waters of the womb. And now we've set the scene, let's move into our guided pathworking meditation. And at the end of this meditation, I'd like to invite you to just keep your eyes closed and to carry on relaxing, as we will move into the healing candle meditation at that point. But for now, let's take a moment and start to relax a little more deeply. So just take a moment to close your eyes and get comfortable and make any small adjustments to your body that allow you to let go of just a little bit more tension. And when you're ready, take a few deep breaths, just as deep as feels comfortable for you. So we'll just breathe in and out, and in and out. And out. Just let any tightness in your body start to flow away from you as you exhale, and place your attention into your chest and your belly, and just breathe into those areas slowly and gently. Just establish a rhythm with your breath that feels natural to you. And as you breathe, imagine your energy is expanding and contracting with your breath as light, slowly creating a cloak or a bubble of light around you, over your head, beneath your feet, and completely surrounding you. And as it grows, just try to let your heart, belly soften, and let your mind quieten down. Just keep your awareness in the sensation of your breath as it moves in and out of you, gently energizing you, just allowing your muscles to release their tension, to become loose and heavy as you relax into your seat or into the ground or into the bed where you're sitting or lying. And just feel that support all around you, letting your attention rest on the places where your body meets the ground. And just become aware of where the base of your spine is in contact with the surface that is beneath you. Let's just take some breaths into the base of your spine. Let's just breathe in and out. as you breathe, just feel that area becoming warm and imagine it opening up. And as you feel that connection to the earth, just allow yourself to send a root down from the base of your spine, or if you prefer, then you can send that root down from the soles of your feet into the earth, down through all the layers of soil and rock, through the layers of history ancestry, mingling with all the roots that unite us as one. Just allow that root to travel down and down to the center of the earth, right down to the earth fire at the center of the planet. And imagine that warm fire flowing up through that root, up into your body, into your feet and your legs, up through your pelvis and your torso, up through your heart, and up and out and through the top of your head, flowing down and around you and back down to the earth. And as you do this, feel the light of the sun above you flowing down onto the top of your head, down through your head to your heart, your torso, down through your pelvis, through your legs, through your feet, and into the earth. And just take a few moments now to feel this energy coming up from the earth and down from the sun, and to just have a sense of yourself as a beautiful bridge that is connecting the earth and the sky. And when you're ready, I'd like to ask you to imagine that you're standing in a woodland at dawn, and the morning light is starting to fill the sky as the sun rises and the night falls away. And all around you, the dawn chorus is flowing through the trees, the voices of the birds singing, uplifted and joyful, and you can feel the woodland waking up and coming to life. There's dew on the ground, hanging as droplets on the blades of grass at your feet. The morning air still cool on your skin, but you feel uplifted by this gentle light and the knowledge that the sun that you can see rising in the sky will gain in height and warmth as the day goes on. You start to follow a path through the trees, enjoying the sounds of the birds and the animals stirring in the undergrowth. And as you walk, you notice that some areas are already basking in the spring sunshine, and the warmth and the light has brought primroses and wild daffodils and crocuses, coltsfoot, dandelions, or whatever spring flowers that you might have, that you might know of or see in your part of the world. They are all starting to emerge. They're all bringing their colour and their vitality to your path. Just take some time just to notice the flowers and the plants that are growing around you. And above your head, you notice that there are leaf buds on the trees, shining with vibrant green as a promise of what is to come. Perhaps you look up into the trees and you see the first blossom appearing. First delicate flowers that will later turn to berries on the trees. And you keep making your way through the woodland, following this path that is clear and very easy to tread. And as you walk, you notice that there are also places along your way that the sun has not yet reached. Places that are still sitting in shade. And in these places, the forest floor has no flowers, and the leaves are taking longer to show themselves on the branches. And the air here is colder than the places where the flowers are already growing. But you walk through these areas as well, calm and relaxed, seeing the light and the shade sitting next to each other, coexisting in this place in balance and harmony. And you know that as the year progresses, these areas will also feel the warmth of the sun and will share in the unfolding of new life. richness of this place, that there is no weariness here, only vitality and vibrancy, and the colours of the flowers are clear and light and beautiful, newly born into this place of beginnings and renewal, where everything feels refreshed and uplifted and excited and innocent. And as you continue to walk, you feel your own enthusiasm for life growing as this potent energy flows through you and around you, full of anticipation, full of desire for life and unfolding, awake and alert as the sun falls onto the leaves and the petals for the first time. And among the trees, out of sight, you can hear the animals of the woodland stirring, playful and energized. And you follow this path through this beautiful spring woodland until you come to a clearing surrounded by tall trees around an open circle of grass. And in the still low light of the sun, the trees on one side of the clearing cast their shadows across the grass, so that one half of the clearing is in shadow and the other half is held in light. And on the threshold between the darkness and the light, you see that a fire is burning, and there are two large rocks beside it. And you feel drawn to sit down and rest on one of these rocks to enjoy the clearing and the sunshine and the sounds of the woodland. As you sit here beside the fire, you start to gaze into the trees on the edge of the clearing, where the light meets the shade beyond the clearing. And you notice that there is a large old doorway with a closed door within it. So take a moment now to look at this door and to notice the details of it. What is it made of? Are there any marks or carvings or images on the surface? kind of condition is it in? Does it look well used? Does it look like it's been closed for a long time? How do you feel when you look at this door? And as you look at the door, you become aware that a creature or a being is behind the door. They're waiting to come forward to meet you. And you know that this being has come to help you open this door to your creative potential. Might be an animal or a bird or an insect, either from the physical world or the mythological or the other world. It could be another kind of helper. Could be a being that we might think of as a deity, or it could be our higher self. It could be a being that you're familiar with, or one that you've never encountered before. But whatever or whoever they are, this being is here to help you open the doorway to the spring inside yourself, to help you allow your creative potential to flow out into you, into your life, and into the world. They might be able to tell us something about that energy in ourselves and how it wants to express itself. They might be here to help us let that light into ourselves so it can grow, or even to act as mediator or peacemaker between us and our creative potential, to help us to resolve the reasons we resisted, to help us unblock and feel more comfortable with allowing that energy to flow freely. And as you watch, the door starts to open, slowly at first, to allow a shaft of golden light to shine across the clearing towards you, then wider until you are sitting in that glow, bathing in it. And the being who has been waiting to meet you steps through the doorway and into the clearing towards you. Just take a moment now to recognize who or what they are, and to greet them as they come forward to meet you and to join you by the fire in this threshold place between darkness and light. take some time now to talk with them, to ask them any questions you may have about any particular areas of your inner self or your life where you might want to open up this gateway and allow more of your creative self to flow in, or any healing that you might want help with, any change or transformative practice that you might want to birth into your life, or to bring those spring fires of life to infuse. Allow yourself to listen for the answers or the guidance that this being may offer you. And if they're not in human form, then pay attention to their body language or gestures, as they may use these as an additional means of communication. Pay attention to the thoughts and the feelings, the images and sensations that you might experience in your body, your mind, or your heart. And I'll give you a couple of minutes now to have this interaction. This being for meeting you here and for sharing whatever they may have shared with you. And when you've said your goodbyes, they walk away from you across the clearing, through the doorway, into the light beyond. And the doorway does not close behind them. It will stay open to grow with the light of the earth as the spring unfolds. And you know that you can call upon them or visit this place whenever you have need of them. But for now, it's time to leave this place. And you walk towards the edge of the trees and the path that you arrived by, and you pass back into the woodland. retracing your steps back through the trees, back through the areas of light and the beautiful spring flowers and the leaf buds on the tree branches, back through the shaded areas that are awaiting their turn, back through the places where the birds are singing and the animals are stirring, feeling the rising energies of spring, the magic of life unfolding, becoming manifest. And you know that you are part of this becoming, that the door within nature that allows this life and this fire to pour through it is also open within you, within your life, that you are awakening with the earth, that you are a part of this new birth, of this renewal, this expression of the creative life force of the planet. And as you reach the place where you began this journey, you take one last look around before you allow it to fade from your senses, letting go of the trees and the flowers and the birds and the new sun, knowing that all of this lives within you. And you start to slowly move your focus back to your physical body, to become aware of the form of your body, of your arms and legs and torso and head, and you become aware of the place where you are, of what you are experiencing with your physical senses, what you can hear, what you can smell, taste, what you can feel, the sensation of the chair or the ground or the bed supporting your body, and just imagine a cloak of leaves wrapping around your shoulders, holding you in this energy of nature and spring, holding you safe, embracing you in love and support. Take some deep breaths in. Just feel the air moving through your body. Just feel how it expands your chest and your belly. And start to imagine that you are breathing in through your feet. Just focus on the soles of your feet. Be aware of them making contact with the ground as you allow your body to slowly and gently move. First your toes and your fingers, and you might want to roll your head from side to side, to roll your shoulders, want to have a bit of a stretch. But before you open your eyes, just want to invite you to remain in this space of relaxation for a little while longer with your eyes closed as we share a healing candle. So I have lit this candle now as our Ostara flame, and I'd like to invite you to imagine that candle and its flame burning in the darkness, and to imagine that flame as a point of connection for all the hearts taking part in this space, regardless of time or place. Just imagine this flame as a single point of focus, a single point of light that radiates out to bless each one of us with its warmth and its healing, renewing us, restoring us, awakening and rebirthing us in whatever way we have need of it. Let's just take a moment to sit with that. And see it now as a flame that radiates out beyond us to touch the hearts of all those who wish to receive it, bringing light and warmth, comfort, love, healing, compassion, kindness, beauty, peace, joy, friendship, understanding, hope. See its light expanding to hold the whole world, every living being. Feel it finding its way into every dark space, wherever there is pain and suffering. Let it restore harmony and balance. Let this flame of spring bring renewal. Let it open doors to new possibilities, to new ways forward towards the light for all beings who desire it. Let its light illuminate the pathways to transformation and healing, to the blessing of life and of living, so that all beings can receive it. And let's just stay in that space together for a few minutes now. And there will be silence for this time. So please don't worry that there's anything wrong with your device. I will bring you back when it's time. Blessed be. And when you're ready, just allow yourself once again to become aware of the room where you're sitting or lying. Become aware of the sounds and the sensations of your body, of your limbs, the support you're lying on. Bring attention to your breath. Feel it expanding your chest, your belly, pulling you into your body, present and aware. And let yourself make some small movements of your fingers and your toes, your head and your shoulders. And let yourself have a good stretch if you feel like it. And just keep breathing right down into your feet. Just feel the ground underneath you and around you. Just feel that root going down into the earth. Just keeping you present and secure in the place where you are. Just ask Mother Earth to help you come fully back into your body, into awareness of your body, just to be fully present. And when you're ready, just open your eyes. Okay, so I really hope that you have enjoyed this small Ostara celebration that we have shared together today. And I will bring this space to a close here. But thank you so much for joining me. And I wish you all the blessings of this very beautiful festival and the spring fires within the earth. So much love and light and beauty is flowing out to you. And I hope that you will join me next time. But in the